Welcome to RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD, BlenderHD. You're going to follow me on Twitter. And it's Wednesday, January 22nd, and we'll be taking a first look at the NFL Conference Championship round playoff DFS slate on DraftKings. So hit that thumbs up button on your way in the door. Give me those thumbs. Hit the thumbs up button, the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell to always know when we go live. Join with me is TJ Zwarich for this two-game slate, two games that have 47-ish, 47. I think they both have 47 and a half totals. And it's a two-game slate, so there's not going to be many options. And we're just going to kind of mosey on through the position by position, looking at the, kind of the top plays, even though, almost everyone's viable to some extent. So TJ, what's your over? I mean, from like a top play perspective, like not GPP wise. We'll be talking that on Friday. Is there any? I mean, out of the four teams, I mean, we're not going to be avoiding anyone, right?
No, I don't think there's anybody to avoid. Really, only one not so great defense left of the group. But all of the offenses are top tier. We got Saquon Barkley is going to be projecting for 90% ownership, and it's hard to blame the field for potentially getting that high because the running back options on this slate are just so bleak. It's gonna be a fun little two gamer.
Well, let's start at quarterback. We got Josh Allen. We got Jaden Daniels. We got Jalen Hurts. We got Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Allen and Daniels probably have the highest upside. Obviously, they're also the most expensive quarterbacks on the slate. Jalen Hurts, I mean, the Eagles don't throw the ball as much, and his mobility is not the best that it's been this season. He's probably playing a little bit hurt. And then we have Patrick Mahomes, who's the cheapest quarterback on the slate. But the way the Chiefs have been playing, I mean, the Chiefs won the game. Mahomes had 12 fantasy points. So, and it's him. It was Kelsey. It was a little bit of Worthy. Kareem Hunt scores a couple of times. Everyone has a healthy enough team total. So, Philadelphia, 26.75. Kansas City, 24.5. Buffalo 23, Washington 20.75. So I'm perfectly fine going. I'm truthfully in a cash lineup. I don't think I would play Hurts, but I don't think Hurts is like that. You can't X him out of your player pool completely. The only thing is that I'm not even necessarily sure if salary is going to even be an issue, because Patrick Mahomes at 6K sounds pretty good to me in a favorite spot against Buffalo. But I just think Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels, I mean, even in losing efforts, could put up 25 to 30 fantasy points.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's going to be my top guy on this slate. Considering in ownership and things like that, it would bump up Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts for me for large field stuff. But overall, just picking one, I think Josh Allen would be my guy in this spot, even not considering ownership. But when you factor in that Mahomes is going to be the highest owned guy, it makes me like Allen even more for GPPs. But for cash, I still think that's where I'd be going.
Right, because we can see here just in the prop market, Patrick Mahomes has the highest passing yardage prop. He also has the best line for two plus touchdowns. The only difference is that Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels also much higher rushing yardage usage and rushing touchdown usage. Yeah. Plus minus 115 for Josh Allen, plus 205 for Jaden Daniels, and the floor ceiling combo of these rushing quarterbacks. If they rush for 50 yards. I mean, that's more than a touchdown, right? Then you score 4 points for a touchdown in DFS. And if they score a touchdown rushing, that's a 6-point touchdown. So I don't know about you. I don't think we're going to have necessarily that much trouble paying up for for Josh Allen. So I think that's probably the way to go if you're playing double ups. I mean, do you see any need? We'll go to running backs, right now. Other than Barkley, do you necessarily see a need to pay up for anyone?
No. I mean, it's literally impossible. There's no one to pay up for. Like, James Cook is even pretty cheap. But no, Saquon Barkley, obviously, from a cash perspective, is the first player you're plugging into your lineup this week. But there's nobody else that's a priority. You can basically just plug in whoever fits your lineup. Kareem Hunt, Austin Eckler would probably be my two favorites. But honestly, there's nothing wrong with going all the way down to a Ty Johnson at $4,400 because the position is just so terrible. It's possible that no one scores double-digit points other than Saquon.
Right. I mean, take a look at the screen. I mean, take a look at lineup HQ, our card projections. Saquon Barkley, mean projection 24.49. The next highest is James Cook at 12.83. So Barkley has double the projection of James Cook. And then after James Cook, you get Eckler, Robinson, Hunt. They all have like 8s and 9s. And it's probably, it's guys like Robinson and Pacheco, very touchdown dependent. I mean, based on this, typically in double ups and head to heads, we tend to play 3 running back lineups. I'd like to play 1 running back lineup. I mean, like the second running back slot, I'd almost rather just have a receiver there. So you have Barkley, and we're making a double up type of lineup. Are we just paying up for a $6,900 James Cook? Are you perfectly fine with one of these 5K guys?
I think you just fill out the position last, and you get out. You put in all the other players that you want to play, and if you have to punt it all the way down, who cares? That's fine. If you have to play a 5K guy like Hunt or Eckler, I think that's cool. I think Kareem Hunt would probably be my first choice for like a cash game. I think he's going to get the goal line work for Kansas City. We know he's going to get 8 to 10 touches. It just feels like he's probably the safest of the group.
The one with the highest floor probably is Eckler, though. I mean, he may not get the touchdown, but he's, I think, more likely. I mean, this is where we are at the point on running backs on this slate. He is the most likely to catch 3 balls for 20 yards and rush for 20 yards.
Yes.
And that's like 7 points.
And that could be enough.
And that truthfully, that could be enough. But
now, if you're doing, say, a Mahomes cash game lineup, I think you're for sure going James Cook in that spot just because you'll have the salary. But going Josh Allen, I would prefer probably Eckler, Barkley there too.
But look at the Barkley props. The Barkley 126.5 rushing prop, minus 230 anytime touchdown scorer. I'm not even sure. I mean, truthfully, I didn't even look through it to even attempt, because it was just like, can you build a lineup without Saquon Barkley that spends all the money? Are there lineups that exist like that?
Let's see.
Right, I didn't even look. I mean, it's like Saquon Barkley on this slate. I know we're talking more like cash first look type of stuff today, but I mean, Saquon Barkley, we have projected owned to be 89.8%. I think that may be too low. Like, can you make a lineup? Can you even make a lineup?
Oh yeah, you can. And like you can with Travis Kelce, Terry McLaurin, AJ Brown, it's definitely doable. I have a lineup that doesn't even have Josh Allen in, and I struggled to spend the salary if I did it with Jalen Hurts, and I had a lineup that struggled to spend the salary even without Barkley or Josh Allen.
Okay, so I mean, if you're playing cash games on this weekend, like if you're not playing Saquon Barkley, you just find those people in your head-to-heads, write down the little username, and then you just look for them in the future. Because I mean, come on. But I don't think you necessarily have to plug in James Cook at 6,900 in your second running back spot. But I think it's you can. I think there are cheap receivers. I mean, truthfully, once we start getting to other positions, I don't think it's necessarily that great of like you got a slam dunk gotta play. I think Barkley is the only slam dunk gotta play in double up lineups this weekend 100%.
Well, as we pivot, yeah, I agree with you 100%. And as we pivot to the wide receiver position, I think we got to ask ourselves, who do you prefer if you have the salary, James Cook or AJ Brown? Because I think Terry McLaurin probably goes above both of them for me. AJ Brown just has not been doing very much as of late. Pardon me. I think so. McLaurin goes well above those two for me. But between AJ Brown and James Cook, I think that's a reasonable question because AJ Brown's been non-existent, but James Cook has a terrible matchup.
Right, we take a look at look at these AJ Brown prop numbers. I mean, we've not seen them this low. From 4.5, 61.5, plus 155 to score a touchdown. I mean, McLaurin has a better prop. I mean, Devonta Smith isn't all that far behind AJ Brown anymore. I mean, like from a prop market perspective, if we take a look at the running back props, James Cook 57.5 rushing yards. He's favored to receive the ball twice, plus 125 anytime touchdown. I mean, based on the prop market, I would say you play James Cook over AJ Brown. But I'm just not sure that you're playing a McLaurin Brown lineup you're not in the price range to begin with. Because would you play James Cook over Terry McLaurin?
No, I wouldn't. And then when it comes down to it, I think that is my preferred way to build an optimal style lineup is Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Terry McLaurin as my three spend ups, and 4,500 per position. Plug in whoever at defense. I guess Eagles are probably the best one, but it doesn't really matter. Leaves you just under 5K per position, and I think that works for the cheap players we have on the slate because I feel like these are the three guys most likely to score me 25 plus. And as long as they do that, it doesn't really matter who else is gonna be in my lineup. I think I'm in a cash.
So if we're playing like mid-range wide receivers, I mean, to me the safest quote unquote is Khalil Shakir at 5,700. Seems like Buffalo. I mean, the thing is about these teams is that like the most condensed team, Philadelphia, actually passes the least, and the teams that pass the most have 74 people they throw to. So like Buffalo and Kansas City could throw to a ton of people, but I think Shakir is the highest floor on Buffalo, and Xavier Worthy outside of Kelsey at tight end. We didn't see much out of Hopkins. Hollywood Brown got nothing the last game, like literally nothing. I'm not opposed to. They're cheap. So Hollywood Brown's 4,200, Hopkins 4,700. I think I trust Xavier Worthy more in cash, only because they do design plays to him. So even if he's not the centerpiece of the offense or anything, he's going to get 3 or 4 like absolutely designed plays, and if he scores on one of them, you're gold. So are you the most safest with those guys? Do we need to go down and play a guy like Diami Brown at 4,400, figuring that the Commanders as 6-point underdogs are much more likely to be throwing the ball?
I'm going in a cash game setting. I'm going one of two ways here, and it's Xavier Worthy and Khalil Shakir for sure. And then it's either Terry McLaurin or Diami Brown. I'll get one of those Washington receivers. I like stacking them up together with Jaden Daniels and GPPs, but in cash, I'll probably go Josh Allen, Shakir, Worthy, and then either McLaurin or Brown. Because if I go Brown, that means I can go Travis Kelce at tight end. I can't get there if I go Terry McLaurin with Saquon Barkley, with Josh Allen. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people want to go Patrick Mahomes this week, because then you can go Mahomes, Kelce, McLaurin, and Barkley. You can get all of them, but it's a bit too tough to do with to go Kelsey with Allen, with Barkley, with McLaurin. So I don't hate the idea of going down to in the cash games with Diami Brown there, who's just been getting a ton of targets, solidified himself a little role there in Washington, and then going to one of the cheaper tight ends. But this isn't as strong of a tight end slate as we've had the last few slates. There's no more double Baltimore guys, and it's starting to go down a little bit. So that does kind of make me want to make sure I'm prioritizing Travis Kelce in cash, which means Diami Brown is likely to be the guy that I go to.
The other wide receivers, like guys like Coleman and Cooper and Hollins, Zacchaeus, Samuel, Crowder, Jahan Dotson, like all these guys are like GPP only. Like the salary is not tight to begin with. Probably don't punt with the guy that could legitimately only get 1 or 2 targets and not even catch either of them.
Yeah, I think all these Buffalo guys are super interesting for large field GPPs with Josh Allen because they will allow you to spend up for like you in GPPs, you fade Worthy, you fade Shakir, you go down to the cheap Keon Coleman's and Curtis Samuels, Matt Collins, or whoever. It allows you to get Barkley. It allows you to get Kelsey. It allows you to get Josh Allen. You get the spend ups that you want to pay for in it. So I do think they are very viable for large field GPPs, but definitely not going there in a cash setting.
Kelsey at tight end is a very similar spot to Barkley at running back, where his mean projection is like almost double the next highest tight end. So Kelsey at 6K. And then we got Kincaid, 3,600, Ertz, 4,300, Goddard, 4,500. I think these guys are, truthfully, I think I'd rather, well, maybe it's close, but I think Ertz, Goddard, Kincaid are better than the wide receiver. I don't want to say better, have higher floors than the wide receivers in that range. But like in double ups, I'm just gonna play Kelsey, right? I mean, are we just gonna plug in 6K Kelsey? Because truthfully, 6K Kelsey, he has the highest receiving prop even with the wide receivers. So like he's cheaper than AJ Brown, he's cheaper than Terry McLaurin. He's favored to get 7 receptions, 70.5 yards, and he's plus 125 anytime touchdown scorer. Like, if he was wide receiver eligible, we would play Kelsey number 1 out of all these guys. So why wouldn't we at a tight end position where, like, the only other people that are going to score points as a floor are those 3 other guys that I mentioned. Everyone else is just like, a touchdown and a prayer. So you prioritizing. Now, I don't think it's the same as Barkley, because if you don't play Barkley in your lineup, your projection goes down by God knows how much. You can play lineups without Kelsey that are still fine. But I'm assuming, TJ, if you were playing double ups, Kelsey would be the number 2 person after Barkley in your line.
Yeah, I do think so. I think we're prioritizing Kelsey over Terry McLaurin if we have to. And as we go through this, it does make me kind of understand why more people are going to a potential Patrick Mahomes in cash, because then you can get McLaurin, Kelsey, and Barkley. But I do, the more we look into this build, I do think Kelsey becomes the number 2 priority. But I actually think I'm probably wanting to go to Goddard or Ertz as well in that lineup.
Chad is asking, would you rather play, this is FanDuel, but I mean, just in
exact
general.
same question for DraftKings. I was literally going to ask you this, of the Diami Brown or Ertz for the flex position.
Because you can do that. Well, I mean, I know that's only 2 games. I mean, I think Diami Brown has a higher ceiling, but Ertz has a better
floor.
The
higher floor. Yeah.
Right. But typically the thing is that when the lower you go down, the more likely I care more about ceiling than I care about floor. Right? So like Ertz getting 7 points, great. But I mean, Diami Brown could score 20.
Yeah.
I mean, he could also score 3. I mean, like, he has a wider range of outcomes. So, truthfully, I think I prefer Diami Brown. But to me, I think it's more what is in the rest of my lineup when it comes to this is cash games we're talking about. I really don't feel like wanting to be stuck with McLaurin, Brown, and Ertz, like 3 commander pass catchers in my lineup in a double up because their offense fails, your lineup fails. So really, if I'm not playing if I'm playing Terry McLaurin, I'm probably much more likely to not play a commander. Or if I'm not playing Terry McLaurin, then I don't mind playing Diami Brown and Ertz together. If you understand, like I'm trying, and then if you're playing Eckler in that lineup, also, it's like I don't want to be. I think the Commanders are actually going to be quite popular because their offense is a little bit more known. Philadelphia doesn't throw the ball enough. People may not want to play Hurts, and then Buffalo and Kansas City have 700 people to play. I think people just look at the Commanders and go, "Well, I know it's Daniels, it's Robinson and Eckler, it's McLaurin, Brown, and Ertz, and we know where to go." So I just don't want 3 of them. I just don't want 3 of them in my cash lineup.
So I've basically just built what I think is my top cash game lineup, and it's the McLaurin. It has the McLaurin fade, but it has Eckler, Brown, and Ertz.
Okay, that isn't bad. Like if I plug in Kelsey, I mean, I'm not going to have to plug in Saquon. It's going to give me Saquon, right? It's Dalton Kincaid, Eagles defense, Khalil Shakir, Brown, Shakir, Worthy, Kelsey, Mahomes. I mean, it's basically all Kansas City right here. And if you don't play Cook in your line, like if I take out Kelsey.
Yeah, so my choice is a little bit more Washington heavy as opposed to Kansas City heavy. I have Worthy and I have Kelsey, but that's it for me for Kansas City.
Okay. This is if you play James Cook. If you take out James Cook out of this lineup, let's go to running back. Take out James Cook, then you get then you go the other direction, right? So Eckler, Brown, McLaurin, Kelsey, Hollywood Brown, Eagles defense.
Yeah, but I'm still building with Josh Allen instead of Mahomes.
Okay. So let's see what that looks like. We build with Josh Allen. Let me take out this. This is lineup HQ. You can obviously get this if you're a premium member here at RotoGrinders. Click on that link in the description. Allen, Robinson, Brown, Shakir, Worthy, Kincaid, Kelsey. I mean, a lot of these lineups are close.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to prioritize defense. I mean, I know lineup HQ, these initial projections are giving Eagles defense because they do project mean projection a 1.5 higher than the Chiefs. But I mean, are you that concerned with which defense you play on this slate?
No, I was going to say, so the lineup that I'm running right now is projected for 2 fantasy points less than the optimal that we're showing with Josh Allen. But where I'm sacrificing those 2 fantasy points are at the defense position, going all the way down to Commanders.
Right. I mean, obviously the Eagles defense is the best defense on the slate. But unless there's like a pick 6 or something, like the defensive scoring is going to be pretty flat. I mean, these teams are going to score points. I mean, I don't think any of these teams are getting shutouts or anything.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. I mean, I know it's a quick show, but there's only 2 games. Anything else as far as I mean, we don't have to worry about like people on the injury report or anything. Like we're not waiting on news or press conferences or coach speak or anything, right? We shouldn't expect heading into the weekend that, well, if this guy doesn't play, we play this guy type of thing, right?
Pardon me, sorry, I got distracted for a second and I missed that. That's my bad.
No, I just want to know, like, we're not waiting on any news. Like,
No.
there's not going to be any like Andy Reid is going to say something that's like, oh my God, the Chiefs are going to do this now, or whatever. Like, this should be I mean, most of the projections should hold through Sunday. It's not NBA, it's not like an NBA day. So I don't know, TJ, if you have any last words when it comes to like a top play type of lineup, not GPP strategy. We'll talk about that on Friday.
Yeah, top play again. I agree. We're building around Barkley. We're building around Kelsey. You'll dive into the GPP stuff a little bit deeper from that standpoint. But I do think my priority salary savers and my cash optimal style builds, and this will probably go into tournaments as well, are going to be Ertz and Brown.
Okay, doke. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Give me those thumbs. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to always know when I go live here in the morning. Tomorrow, Grant will come on. We'll talk about some props and some pick'em stuff. Right? Only 2 games to choose from. Only 4 teams. I don't know. The slim pickings this week. Very slim pickings this week. But we'll see what we can find. And then Friday, Bobby will be on. We'll be ranking the teams. We'll do a tier list with 4 teams. Let's see how we could manage to extend that show to be at least a half an hour long or something. But we'll talk more about GPP strategy as far as onslaught lineups, game stacks, whether or not we're picking onesies and twosies. What players can you play together, right? Do we play 2 running backs from the same team? Do we play, a quarterback with none of their receivers? Like that type of stuff. We'll talk about that on Friday. So hit that thumbs up button. And obviously you could sign up for RotoGrinders Premium, get all of our tools. Click on that link in the description, and I'll see you tomorrow like I always do on weekdays at 11 o'clock Eastern, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props, and pick'em on RotoGrinders Today.